He missed training and he was an hour and a half late. This club said that they couldn't get hold of him. I think one of the significant things in this whole event, if you like, is the fact that this information came from the club. The club were prepared to share this. They were prepared to say so, and that tells you that they've reached a point where basically they're tired of it, and that they want to say this and they don't want to protect him. And so he was late to training. They couldn't get hold of him. He then said his battery had run out. He said he had gastroenteritis. And I take you back to what Xavi Hernandez said a few years ago. Gastroenteritis is the excuse that you always give when there's something else wrong. You know, when a player's been out and shouldn't be, or when a player just doesn't feel like it, or when there's some sort of issue. Then, of course, Ernesto Valverde took the decision to leave him out of the game at the weekend. In other words, you know, you didn't turn up. You weren't here when you're supposed to be. Yep. You don't play. This is a punishment, not least because when he trained the next day, apparently he trained very, very well indeed. So he was left out, not even on the bench. The game at the weekend, he turned up, only just made it in time to watch the game. And I think it's genuinely a problem. And Barcelona have asked now Dembele's agent to take a kind of an active role in helping him settle. Of course, he's of a different personality. He's of a different mentality to a lot of Barcelona's players. And I think this is an integration question. Piqué was very interesting as well at the weekend, and he defended Dembele up to a point, but I actually think the way that he did it left no doubt at all about the way that some of the players feel about this. And he said, look, Dembele's a very young kid. We've all been young. We've all done things wrong. But he has to learn that when you're a football player, you need to be a football player 24 hours a day. In other words, as I say, Barcelona are now not hiding some of those things that we talked about earlier in the season, and even a little bit last year, that they were concerned about his level, or lack of it, of integration in the team. No, I mean, look, the situation from Barcelona's point of view is, as Craig says, is a very delicate one. It's quite difficult to know how to manage this, because I think right now, if they were suddenly confronted by a club that would pay the kind of money that allows them to recuperate almost everything they spent on him, I think they would take it. But they're also aware that this is an incredibly talented player, a player who's actually bailed them out of trouble on a number of occasions this year, scored, I think it's 5 goals and really important ones as well. And so I think there is a desire to turn this around. There's a desire to manage him through it. But there is also, I think, a fatigue now that sort of says, well, we've kind of had enough of this. But you're right, how do you manage this when knowing when you've got a person? Fundamentally, you've got a person, but you've also got a player and you've also got an asset. And those are 3 things you have to protect in slightly different ways.